Welcome back to another edition of Faces in the Corsair Crowd. Today I'm joined by our fearless leader, the athletic director, Amanda Van Voorhis. Amanda, thank you for joining me.
Thank you. Great to be here, Molly.
Great. I know you've got a long history here at UMass Dartmouth. When did you first get started here?
It was the 2008-2009 academic year. I arrived after a one-year stint at Brown as the assistant women's basketball coach. So this is my 13th year overall, if you could believe it.
Wow.
Served in a number of roles. Time's certainly gone by quickly, but I think that means we're having fun.
I'm sure. I know you got your start in coaching, and now you've climbed the ranks up to athletic director. Do you think that that experience has shaped the way you lead the department?
Yeah, it's very much like a team. You know, you want good people around you, and you want people that are as passionate about the work as you are as an individual. And that's as a coach, you just always wanted people that were driven and would run through a wall and understood what you're trying to accomplish. And so certainly a lot of aspects of coaching taken into my role as the athletic director. I think with my coaching experience, I think I was a head coach for 13 years. You can relate to your coaches, and you understand, their motivations and, their needs and their perspective on things. So, we're all competitive. So you put us all in a room, and sometimes we're, at each other's throats. But, I think when everybody is pulling in the same direction and understands the big picture, I think that makes for a great staff. So, we've had a chance to hire quite a few coaches, and, I like where we are as a staff. And, I just do my best to lead. I guess as a coach, you guide, you mentor. It's a little bit of everything rolled into one, but certainly I've used some of those skills in this position.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I know we're not in a typical school year now, but in a typical academic year, what is your day-to-day like in your job?
Well, I have, if anyone knows me, I keep a lot of notes in my phone, and I have stickies, but, whatever I set out to do on the day, it's usually not what actually gets done. So there's just a lot of different things coming at you. You can't plan your day. You can try, but you always have those surprises around the corner or something that needs your attention. So, as a administrator, I find, it's after hours or very early in the morning. If I have big things I need to get done, with budgeting or a job description or some kind of report, it's difficult to get those things done during the day. So you just have to factor that all in. So, but I like it. It's always changing. It's moment to moment, particularly in COVID. It's not knowing if you're actually going to play a game, sometimes up to an hour before the game. Whenever has a game being played been, a 50-50 chance. So it's a lot different, but I guess some of those skills, are applicable here. So.
Yeah, it's almost like no 2 days are the same in athletics.
Yeah, no 2 days are the same. Like no two games are the same. I mean, you shoot well, you don't shoot well, you come out strong, or you finish, on a slide. So, you just don't know. A lot of ups and downs. So that's certainly a transferable skill, understanding, the ebbs and flows and people's emotions and, fears and, everything, the whirlwind of emotions people have been feeling during COVID. It's like athletics, it's really tested our resiliency and, our team as a whole. So, yeah,
definitely. How would you say your role has evolved through all of this, all the challenges we faced?
It's, geez, more meetings than ever. We went to Zoom and it's like, let's just Zoom. Let's just Zoom. So I've spent a lot of time with my LEC colleagues. We've had ADs meetings twice a week, really, since March. So, it's, trying to anticipate as best you can, and you just can't. We're big planners, but this is just, COVID has won in that regard. We're, instead of being proactive, we sort of have to be reactive. We've been at the mercy of the decisions other conferences have made. We wanted, and we've stuck with it and tried to find a way, the best path forward for our student athletes, while other conferences made the decision, not to play this winter. We wanted to give it our best shot and try to give our student athletes some semblance of normal, although far from it. We just are always trying to say, well, how can we pull this off? How can we do this? And we spent a lot of time. So a lot of meetings, a lot of campus planning, a lot of reading. NCAA Sports Science Institute's always publishing new information and data, and a lot of work with our Director of Health Services on our campus, Dr. Mary Ann Sullivan. So some new relationships formed. It's been tough to keep the staff together. We worked remotely for months and months, and we were set to come back in August, and plans changed again. So just to be nimble and agile and flexible, but to support our student athletes the best we can. So, I felt like if we weren't supporting our staff, it would be tough for them to support their student athletes. Everyone's just so disjointed, and it's difficult for me to keep the staff together. It's difficult for coaches to keep their teams together. And, we have to see it through together, get through it, and get to the other side of this. There will be another side. And hopefully, it won't look a lot different than what we, have had been accustomed to our entire careers. And for our athletes, they want to get back at it, and we all look forward to that day.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I know it's the light at the end of the tunnel we're all hoping for.
Yeah. I mean, I miss the team's, journeys, so to speak, and the smiles and the huddles and, kind of seeing their roadmap, however that, whether it be a bumpy road or smooth sailing, with the talented team or a young team, and, the process of it all. You get out to play, and the games are sort of a byproduct of all the work. But in this case, I think that the big W will be getting back out on the field. It's not so much what the scoreboard says at the end of the game, but it's just that camaraderie that we want to see, and get back to all of that, and coaches pacing the sidelines, and our senior days. And that's one thing really that I've missed the most is the celebratory events. Our student celebrating the success on and off the field of our student athletes. We used to have the Domino's Athlete of the Week monthly luncheon, the Chancellor's List reception, and senior days and community service. And, although the sports information staff, you and Jim Seavey have done an outstanding job with features and new initiatives that you've launched, like getting to know our student athletes and alumni spotlights, and where are they now, and faces in the crowd. And of course, our Corsair Hero series, which is really just the epitome of Division III, when you have our nurses and other students and alumni on the front lines of COVID, just highlighting them. And so I've missed that. I'd like to get back to that. We're doing it in some way, but it's still different. We didn't have a banquet last year. We're not going to have a banquet this year. We're just trying to identify our major award winners this year, our senior scholar athletes, and trying to figure out how we could celebrate them and how we can somehow wrap up the winter sports. And, could we make them feel good about the condensed season that they had, so I guess that's been a battle.
Mhm.
But when we played January 23rd, men's basketball hosted Castleton, that being our first game in 322 days. That was a feat. It was strange. It wasn't normal, but just to see that and how much the student athletes enjoyed the opportunity. It's not something they just do. It's like they need to do it. They need to do it for their well-being, and it's just part of their identity, and it's just been stripped from them. So, we've been conscious of that. I know we had a couple of speakers this year, one about student athlete identity and mental well-being and all that. So that's what keeps me up at night, is worrying about them, making sure they're okay, and not held up in their room, isolated and just taking online classes. We as an institution we're in a different boat in the fall, because we had so many online courses. So we had maybe 25% of our student athletes living on campus. And so our teams didn't practice. I think football had 13 guys around. So our fitness center played a huge role in, understanding that our athletes were probably very deconditioned after having so much time off, not having their spring seasons and non-traditional seasons last spring. They sort of just took over. What could we do with these student athletes that are around? And I think that was a unique opportunity. We didn't have, a ton of students, or all 25% of those students on campus participating, but they got to meet each other. It was like a mix of teams, football players, women's soccer players. And I think that was probably good for them, for those that did participate, just feeling like they were in it together. Their teams weren't practicing, they weren't playing, but at least we were doing something. We're out on Cressy Field, running sprints and this and that. So, but yeah, we're done with this. We want to move on. And, I hope that everyone, when it's their turn, takes advantage of getting vaccinated, and preseason is preseason as we've always known it.
Yeah, I think it'd be the first time these athletes are longing for a grueling preseason, and
yeah, for sure. Double sessions, and and I was just talking to somebody about fans, like, what do students do on our campus? And now, we've had this year's class, the first year class, not really doing anything. So they don't really know, like, do I go to football games? And then, we'll have this next class come in. We're going to have the freshmen and sophomores that are going to be like, we can almost mold them and train them, you do go to games. This is what we do, so I'm really looking forward to that too. And so you might, see a culture shift too. And with that momentum of people wanting to get out, why wouldn't they want to come to the game? So I think that's really on our side headed into next fall.
Yeah, absolutely. And basketball season's in full swing. What's it been like? It's slowly transitioning to having student athletes back on campus and competing again.
Yeah, it's great. It's, the coaches have been great, first of all. Two basketball coaches, Matt and Brian, and Eric with hockey, they've really kept their teams together. And, they're making the best of a condensed schedule. And, there have been bumps where, our peer institutions have gone on pause, or we've had a lot of games rescheduled. So I really commend their flexibility and, just how they've handled their teams. I mean, it is the ultimate test in adversity, and, trying to keep a team focused. And, we're still going to have a Little East Conference championship. So, it's not the same, but, they're competing. And I think every time athletes have a chance to compete, or put in that situation, I mean, they do learn valuable life lessons. I mean, it's sportsmanship, it's it's everything, we want to teach them through sport, and just to have that opportunity, even if it's 10 games, I think the coaches understand it's something that not everybody has. They're telling their athletes, be grateful for what you have. A lot of other conferences not playing basketball this winter. So, but it's great to see them. I hope our seniors are able to come back, with the waiver, if they are able to attend graduate school and play out their careers. I know it's not possible for everybody, but it would be great. I know we had some seniors that were deeply disappointed when NCAA championships for winter were canceled. There were seniors that were still chasing that, championship and automatic qualifier. So, if this is it for them, we're doing the very best we can for them, and we'll send them off. But I do hope as many, that many can stay if possible.
Definitely. I know this has been a big learning experience for all of us. Would you have any advice for student athletes who are looking to pursue a career in athletics?
Yeah. Jack Holleran, our associate AD, and I talked about internship opportunities in the department, either through CVPA with graphic design and or with our CCB, Charlton College of Business. We have a lot of management majors. We have a lot of student athletes that we know want to move on to get a master's in sport management. We have a wonderful opportunity here. We put on 150 home games and, some special events throughout the year. And so we've had an intern, we've had some other inquiries from our own students wanting to join and just get a glimpse behind the scenes. I think that's a great way to start, whether it's through a work study opportunity or through an internship. There's a lot, that people aspiring to get into athletic administration or sport management can gain from just spending some time with us, particularly in the COVID world. But yeah, I mean, it's great. It's rewarding. You stay young. I mean, maybe some gray hair, but it's good to be around student athletes and understand their perspective on life and current events and issues. And and I find that that you're always pushing the limit. What else can we do for student athletes? How can we be better? What facilities can we bring on? How can we be a partner with the campus and recruitment and retention? And are there revenue opportunities that we're missing? What more can we do with our alumni? How can we connect our alumni to our student athletes? How can we connect student athletes to the community, to our career development office? I mean, there's just a world of opportunity, and I hope our student athletes look back on this and feel like they were, better prepared after, competing as a Corsair.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's something I always ask them is what they'll bring with them from their time as a Corsair, and they always speak very highly of the experiences they've had.
Yeah, I mean, they all love the senior plaque, or it used to be a 4-year, but we've had student athletes graduating in 3. We've had some transfers. The waters get muddied a little bit, but we believe if they were a Corsair, we want to recognize that, and they take great pride in putting those plaques on their office wall, and bragging about it. So. We hope that they keep us in their hearts, and it's a special place, and they want to come back and speak to their teams, or give a pregame speech, or meet the team on the road for a post-game meal, or what have you. We want them to be lifelong Corsairs and really feel something, for the experience that they had here. But that begins and ends with a great staff and a commitment, by our campus leadership. And, the other thing I've been doing quite a bit of is, managing the transition and managing change. And, I think with that and keeping a positive attitude, I think I've probably worked that messaging into, my work with student athletes and coaches. Chancellor Johnson moved on to Western New England University. Chancellor Preble took the reins. Chancellor Fuller is in now, and that's just managing a lot, telling our story, and you hope every time you have a new campus leadership, you don't have to start at chapter one. And fortunately for us, we've had a lot of good people on cabinet, very supportive of athletics, and I haven't had to start at chapter one. You can start at chapter 10. They get it, they understand the value, and I think that goes a long way into the experience we're able to offer our student athletes, and the value that people see in us.
Yes, absolutely. Well, thank you for taking the time to sit down with me. I appreciate
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. It's been a pleasure.
it. It's been great getting to know another face in the Corsair crowd.
All right. Well,
Yeah.
let's hope we see the light.
Yes, absolutely.
I see the light. Yeah, and the days are getting longer, and spring is coming, and that should put some pep in everybody's step, I think.
Definitely.
Getting back outside, and getting back to games, hearing the whistles and the horns and all that stuff.
Yes, for sure.
All right. Thanks, Molly.
Thank you. We'll see you all next time on our next edition of Faces in the Corsair Crowd.